I go back to the middle of 2019 and the FDA ruling on DCM, dilated cardiomyopathy, and the immediate change that had to the way pet parents was feeding their animals. So where the growth, the primary growth food at that time were these high protein diets, grain-free foods. And all of a sudden we saw that with the FDA, while the opinion was non-conclusive and it said that there's no reason to think that grain-free foods are unsafe, it's one of the few elements that are consistent across all of the animals that were impacted by DCM, and not that it was a big percentage, it was a minuscule percentage of animals that were impacted. So that then meant that we saw a complete shift in the way the innovation curve worked in food. And we now started seeing people developing grain-inclusive foods, but using alternative types of grains. So that then expanded the assortment. That also, at the same time, we had the continuation of the premiumization of pet food, which came as a consequence of the humanization of pets, which meant that we had more and more people wanting to be, proactively thoughtful about the health and well-being of their pets. And that led, of course, to the advent of these human-grade foods. So DCM changing the nature of innovation, the continuation of the humanization of pets and premiumization, driving innovation in human-grade foods. I mean, it's crazy to think that we now have such a plethora of styles of food that we can feed our pets. And I think we'll see more people building bowls and being more thoughtful about the complete meal that they're pulling together for their pets. So, if you go back 10 years, we used to think that the best thing you could do for your dog was to actually move it from a lower quality food that was predominantly made of offal and fillers into a high protein diet that had very high quality ingredients, but we were only putting kibble into a bowl, and we were just replacing one kibble with another kibble. And then we started to move into mixing kibble and cans together. And now people are starting to think about, well, do we actually take the kibble? Do we take supplements that are in powder form and put them in? Do we take hydrators to add to the or to support the hydration of the dog, which might be a bone broth or a goat's milk or something like that? And then we're putting these human grade foods on top as a topper to make the whole bowl more palatable and more interesting for the dog. Everybody's fighting to have a relationship with a consumer that's, for the most part, got a finite amount of money that they want to spend on the health and well-being of their pet, and we all have a hunger to have more and more of that share. So that's going to typically lead to some consolidation and convergence. I think also the new generation of consumers, they like us to do it for them. So they want to have their dog washed, they want to have their nails clipped, they want to have those activities provided for them. And so if they can do that and earn bonus points or some sort of loyalty benefit by doing it with a retailer, then to me that makes sense to bring those together. There's real benefit from a consumer perspective when you've got an omni operator, putting digital and physical together and adding services. We can see that is increasing consumer spend. So if the markets can recognize that the value is there and there's no reason to think that they shouldn't over time, then that will actually see more investment going into those activities. I think it's fairly consistent. What we're seeing is that the retailers are focused on improving the health and well-being experience and the ease of access experience. So they're upgrading their omni experiences. We're seeing the growth of click and collect and same day delivery, which obviously gives them a benefit versus the pure play operators, who would struggle to get same day delivery or next or 2-hour delivery in as many markets as the retailers are in. We're seeing the benefits that come from customer retention and spend as they increase their services offerings. We're seeing the improvement in the life of and the longevity of life of the pets as they get better vet care and combine that with the right food products. So I think it's pretty clear that if you bring the same passion and focus that you've had for developing a retail network that had a focus in food and related products, and you add services and you add vet, then you are winning at retaining customers and gaining a share of their spend, or greater share of their spend. The exciting thing is that we're seeing more and more households benefit from the relationship that they have with their pets. So we're seeing more households embrace pets. We're seeing people embrace those pets and give them a better lifestyle. That's leading to pets living longer lives than they ever have before, and that in itself is leading to differences in terms of the products that we need to provide for their health and well-being, the services that we need to have available to support these aged pets, etc. So that's what's driving much of the change. And I think the fact that millennials and Gen Zs and their capacity to swing between an experience online versus an experience in store and to see all of that happen seamlessly is creating some really interesting opportunities for people, for organizations, to use the best of both worlds to connect with people. And the most exciting thing is that the industry is continuing to evolve. We've got new consumers coming in, and we've got the longevity of life of the animals leading to new types of care and support that we need to provide, which is requiring us to be innovative with the products and our services offering.